Good morning, grade 6 students. This is your teacher, Miss Rita. I hope that you are all doing well and I hope to see you soon. Today we will continue explaining in chapter 3, lesson 2, organizing the elements. So please open your books to page 81. Today we will study what did Mendeleev do, what is atomic mass, and what is a periodic table. We will also solve some exercises. Before we start explaining this new lesson, let's do a quick revision about some keynotes. First, we need to remember that physical and chemical properties are characteristics that describe an element. For example, they can be color, texture, shape, reactivity, which means the ability to produce new substances, conductivity of heat and electricity, etc. Also, we previously said that some elements can have isotopes, which means that they can be the same element but with different number of neutrons. In this case, we call them isotopes. Now we can start explaining the new lesson. So Mendeleev is a scientist that was studying elements. He discovered that some elements had similar properties. For example, they can both be shiny or both conduct electricity and heat. So he decided to arrange the elements in order of their increasing atomic mass. Since some elements have isotopes, so Mendeleev decided to arrange them based on their atomic mass. And atomic mass means the average mass of all the isotopes of an element. Let's say, for example, carbon. Carbon has some isotopes, so he would take the average mass of all of the carbon and write it down. After arranging the elements by their increasing atomic mass, Mendeleev discovered that the properties of the arranged element repeated regularly. To understand more, let's look at figure 1, page 81. We have three metals, lithium, sodium, and potassium, and they're telling us that they all react with water, meaning that when we combine them with water, they produce new substances. The question is to write down your observation of each reaction. In the first beaker, we have lithium combined with water. Together, they form bubbles. In the second one, sodium combined with water, they form smoke and a flame. Finally, potassium combined with water forms a violent spark and a violent reaction. Please don't forget to copy the answers on your books. Now let's take a moment and look at the picture in front of us. One question that we can ask is, what do these elements have in common? The answer is that first, they are all metals, and second, they all have the ability to react with water. So this way we can deduce that what Mendeleev said is correct. Some elements can have the same properties. Therefore, we deduce that these three elements, lithium, sodium, and potassium, they belong to the same group. The only difference is that when the atomic mass increases, the reaction becomes more violent, as you can see in front of you. Based on everything we explained, Mendeleev created what we call a periodic table. It is the arrangement of elements showing the repeating pattern of their properties, and these elements are arranged in order of their increasing atomic mass. But with time, scientists discovered that it is more accurate to arrange the elements based on their number of protons. So the periodic table that we study today is based on the arrangement of elements by their increasing number of protons, or what we call atomic number. Now, instead of having the periodic table that you were looking at, which is Mendeleev's periodic table, nowadays we have this modern periodic table where the elements are arranged based on the number of protons and not the atomic mass. Let's solve page 82, figure 2. Predict an element that would react with water as lithium, sodium, and potassium, and they gave you the symbol for each element. By looking at Mendeleev's periodic table, we can see that lithium, sodium, and potassium all are in the same group, which is group 1. So to find other elements that have the same properties, such as reacting with water, these elements should be in the same group. So we look in the first column, which is group 1. We can, for example, take Rb and Cs. These two elements would also react with water. So the answer for figure 2 would be Rb or Cs because they are in group 1. Mendeleev placed elements with similar properties in the same group. Question 1, Part A. In what order did Mendeleev arrange the elements in his periodic table? So we previously said that he arranged them in order of increasing atomic mass. Please make sure to copy the answers on your book. Now, as homework, I need you to look at the periodic table in front of you and predict two elements that would have the same properties as magnesium and calcium, and you have the symbols of these two elements. Please explain your answer.